Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 8 of Money, Body, Goals. My name is Dalton DeCastro.
And I'm Ryan DeCastro.
And if this is your first time watching this episode, I am a personal trainer and coach.
And I am a wealth coach and a financial planner. And if you can't tell, we are married.
I don't think they'd be able to tell right away, but...
We're not related.
All right, interesting way to start this episode. I'm glad that we were able to make that one obvious for everybody. I am brown and you are white.
You never know.
You never know. Okay. So yeah, tell them about what we did last weekend.
We went away to Mont-Tremblant for the weekend with Dalton's family, his parents and sister, her husband, and their baby. And I thought it's really nice just to get away for the weekend, have a change of environment, and it was really relaxing.
Yeah. I grew up going to Tremblant very frequently, so I think that was probably like over the 8th or 10th time that I've been there throughout my life, and this is actually the first time Rai actually got a chance to go to Tremblant and see the village, so that was exciting for her.
Mm-hmm.
We even ate inside the village, which is not something that we normally do, but that was a lot of fun, so I'm glad we were able to experience that.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to go on the gondola.
Yeah.
Bummer.
It was closed. Well, there's like when you get to Tremblant, there's like at the very bottom of the hill, there's like a mini gondola that allows you to get to the top of the like village hill. And then there's like the main gondola for people who are like skiing and snowboarding, which is way longer and you actually have to pay for that one. Mm-hmm. But the free one actually closed the second we got there, which kind of sucked. Like I was watching people go up and then...
I was being sarcastic. I thought you didn't want to go on it.
No, I wanted to go on it.
Okay.
With you. Well, I wanted you to experience it because I've been on it so many times.
But you are afraid of heights too.
Yeah, I'm actually terrified of heights. I have a phobia of heights, but that is something that I've had to do so many times that it's like, it's whatever. Like I'll do it anyways.
Yeah. It's cool the way they designed it though. It's almost like you feel like you're in Europe.
Yeah. Like if you ever been to Tremblant, you'd know that it has a very specific look to it.
Yeah.
And there's not that many places in Ottawa and or Ontario that I guess Rai's ever really seen. So it definitely looked a lot more unique. Yeah, that was a fun little getaway for the weekend. It was my mother's birthday. So we actually went up a little bit earlier to decorate. We went there to surprise them. And we were expecting, to be there about like 30 minutes to an hour before them. But when we arrived, they were like, yeah, we'll be there in 2.5 hours. So we're like, okay, we got lots of time to decorate and just kind of relax and chill. So
yeah,
it was nice.
It was nice because your mom definitely wasn't expecting that.
No, she didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little gift. See, it's like the little things in life that are like that, where you can surprise somebody and they appreciate it and it means a lot to them. So little things. Also, it didn't cost us an arm and a leg to do that.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of time and effort planning to go a little earlier too. So on the agenda for today, a couple of topics that we want to talk about. One of them, to me, a very important one is goal setting. So this can be used really for fitness and finance, but I'll talk about it from my perspective of the fitness side. I noticed that there's a lot of people, when they're talking about their goals, they do a lot of talking about their goals as opposed to actually creating action plans towards their goals. And I think that's one of the biggest detriments to why people don't see success and don't actually reach their goals, is because they spend so much time talking up a big game about how they're going to do things and, oh, I'm going to do this when the time is right. And this is my game plan. But it's like, it's great that you talk about all these things, but a lot of the times people don't create any action towards it. So I think what's more important than just talking about it is actually just creating the action. So let's say your goal...
Just start.
Yeah, just start.
Yeah.
So let's say you're someone who doesn't go to the gym and your goal is weight loss. Like, just show up to the gym. Don't overthink it and don't do anything. Honestly, just show up to the gym. There's some people who, like, they talked about theory where they said to a person, just go to the gym for 2 minutes and then leave.
Just to get into the habit?
Just to show up.
Getting yourself there. Yeah.
Obviously, it's silly because if you are driving a 30-minute drive, 20-minute drive, whatever, just to show up to the gym for 2 minutes, it's like once you're there already, you're going to make an effort of somehow. Like you can even just walk on the treadmill if you have to. Like get into the habit of just showing up. And that's an actionable thing, right? As opposed to like you're talking a big game, like, oh, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go to the gym, and then it just never happens, right? Just set your alarm, wake up, show up. That's it.
Yeah, I think you can't wait for the perfect time.
No, there's no such thing.
If you're waiting for the perfect time to get started, then let's say, it ends up being really good time. You don't have a lot going on. You can focus on your goals. As soon as there's something that throws your day out of whack, like there goes your goals out the window.
Yeah. A lot of the times roadblocks will happen in your life. And the biggest problem is no one knows how to pivot. So the second a roadblock happens, something inconvenient happens, people just shut down. It's over. it's game over. Like I can't do it anymore. It wasn't exactly how I said I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is like you have these really big expectations that you created in your head as opposed to just show up. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to do it. And that's just something that I've been seeing a lot lately, is just like a lot of people talking about how bad they want things and how much they want to do something. But it's like, it's great that you talk about these things, but you're not doing anything. And you've been talking about this for months, maybe even years. Sometimes people are like, oh, I just want to get shredded. It's like, okay, I've heard you say that for the last 5 years. What have you actually done to implement that in your lifestyle? And like, I'm not judging you for what your goal is. It's just like, every time you talk to me about your goals, it's like, why have you not done anything about it yet?
Yeah. There's so many, I feel like we could talk about this for so long. Yeah. But I think it also comes down to, you have to be willing to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
Like when I'm thinking about it from my perspective, if someone is telling me that you are trying to buy a house in the next few years, they're trying hard to save up for a down payment, but they also haven't made any like sacrifices in terms of their lifestyle spending.
Yeah.
It's like, how badly do you really want that if you're still going out and spending money on all these things, not looking at your budget every month?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you can say that you want this and maybe you do, but you also have to be willing to make the sacrifices to get there.
And I think that's a big determining factor between people who are winners and people who are losers. Like, truthfully and honestly, like when you are considering yourself a winner and you're considering yourself to be a person who actually creates action and reaches their goals, it's like people have to make sacrifices in order to reach their goals, right? So for example, let's just say it's a weight loss thing. Like, you have to sacrifice the ice cream that you've been eating every single night, right? And I get it. Like, people are like, oh, well, you need a happy balance of lifestyle. It's like, I get that, but like, you're not in a position where you need to have that.
Yeah.
Create that happiness and balance when you actually start seeing goals being reached, when you're actually making improvements towards your goals. Like, people want a gold star right away. It's like, you don't deserve anything yet because you haven't achieved anything yet. Start, get really good at creating habits, show up every single day that you have to. You don't have to be perfect, just show up, do all those good habits that we talk about. And then after you see a little bit more results, let it just keep happening, and then you can reward yourself in some way. But some people want that reward right away. But it's like, that's the whole point of delayed gratification. It's like,
Yeah.
you have to wait to see the things you want.
And I think it's really important to just map out what your day is going to look like. So if you do have a busy day and you know that you can't spend 2 hours in the gym that day, it's like, what is the bare minimum that I can accomplish today?
Yeah.
To still stay somewhat on track. Like, I can prepare my meals, or I can make sure that I'm getting my steps in and going for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like little things that you can still just be disciplined with and implement even on like your busiest day.
Yeah. As a trainer, I've dealt with so many different variations of human beings, of different scenarios, that I'm so tired of hearing people say I don't have the time for things, and people saying that I just can't do it. But like, I'll meet people who work 12-hour shifts and still show up to the gym and do their workouts. I still have people who are parents who have to figure out a way for them to get out of the house and do a workout. Like, I got to get the kids to daycare, or I'm going to get somebody to watch after my kids so I can go take care of myself, you know? Like, these are the people who will do what they have to do in order to see success. But then there's other people who are just going to consistently make excuses. It's like, if you have more excuses than you do have actions, then I think you're not destined for whatever you're trying to achieve, personally.
I think another big point is you have to understand where you're starting from.
Yeah.
So if you're in denial about your financial situation or your level of fitness, right? I think that's a big problem. Like, you have to understand, okay, like if I talk about it from my side, it's like, what am I currently spending per month?
Yeah.
You know,
People don't even know that answer.
if you're not even looking at your credit card statements or bank statements and adding all those things together, it's one thing to know that you spent, your credit card bill was $1,000 this month. But if you're looking at all of the areas where specifically your money is going, that's going to have a larger impact.
Yeah.
And you're going to be so much more aware of that.
Yeah. I think mindset's also really important on that aspect. So like, from the finance point of view, broke people are trying to live bougie. Why? Like, you don't have money. Why are you trying to live this bougie lifestyle? Like, save money, be broke, live broke, and save money until you can actually go enjoy that bougie lifestyle that you want. Because at the end of the day, it's almost like someone who's just like super unhealthy, not fit, but they're trying to live this lifestyle of like someone who is. Like, you understand your fitness level. You aren't going to be able to just go out of nowhere and run a 10K. Build your way up to it. Like, don't be delusional.
Yeah.
And sacrifice your health, because like, that's actually more detrimental. If anything, you're just going to feel like shit after. You could try to do the 10K, go for it. And like, that's good for you. But at the end of the day, like, when you feel broken in your body, when you did it and you're not even a runner, why did you do that? Build your way up, slowly implement it. Like, there's no need to go from 0 to 100. Like, there's a step process towards it.
Yep.
You know?
Join an endurance club.
Yeah.
We know a good one.
We know a good one. It's almost as if I'm wearing their merch right now. Shout out to Anthony. So yeah, that's kind of just like a little tangent that we had there for goal setting, but I think it's really important to cover it because it's just such a common thing, and I don't know how many people actually address it. It's just, create action. Step one, just do it.
Just do something that's gonna be easy for you to start and just get into the motions and just build from there.
Yeah.
You don't have to go 0 to 100 because then you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now we actually have received a handful of questions on our DMs from the Instagram account. So we wanted to actually just talk about some of the questions and pretty much answer them. So this question comes from one of our newer subscribers or followers. It was actually a coworker of mine, so shout out to Tyrone. We talked about this in person too, so I thought it was a really good topic. And he asked, what are our thoughts on AI when it comes to fitness and finance? And like, how do we think it's going to affect our industries? So from my side, AI is a great tool, okay? But it needs to be used with caution. I've used it for certain things, and I like to play around with ChatGPT a lot. But the more I use GPT, the more I realize how dumb it can be. And that sounds terrible, but like, it's true. There's a lot of really useful things when it comes to like very beginner level things, but don't rely on GPT. Don't look for the most intricate training program built by GPT. Like, it's going to just spew out random stuff. From a trainer aspect, I don't think AI is great because it doesn't know who you are. It doesn't like actually see how you move. It doesn't have the emotions to relate to a person. You can't have AI as your trainer, right? And I think that AI can't replace trainers personally, because if they tried to, it would just be very black and white, in my opinion. Like trainers, like the things that we do, we see how our clients show up every single day. We know how they're feeling. We can assess that. We would make it very on the spot changes. Meanwhile, AI, I don't think is going to be able to do something like that, right? It's just going to give you, hey, do this, and it doesn't take account anything else.
Yeah, it doesn't know you. I think that's a really good point because, like you said, your situation is not always going to be black and white. Maybe when you're first starting out, but as your situation, as you grow and develop bigger goals and have more money, your situation will get to a point where it is more complex.
Yeah.
And I think just having a human touch is always going to be the most important thing to really navigate your plan and the things you want to accomplish based on like who you are as a person. There's so many different variables. And when you're using ChatGPT, like it's only answering what you're putting in.
Yeah.
You're prompting it to answer your questions. So I think, there's a lot of error even on your own end to be cautious of. Like you could easily miss something that is going to have a big impact, for example, on your financial plan. And for me, like it takes a series of meetings with you one-on-one to really understand who you are and what's going on in your life, the things that are coming up for you and what you want to plan for.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be really hard for someone to just, type some questions in and get the answers you're looking for.
Yeah. It doesn't take into account a lot of your feelings.
Yeah.
It doesn't know who you are. It doesn't try to get to know who you are. Even as much as it says like, oh, just ask more questions and it'll start to get to know you, it will never get to that level where it actually knows you.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I was playing around with GPT myself. Like I was asking a bunch of questions. How is it going to submit something for me? And it just wasn't the same touch. Like I'd take myself any day over AI because I'm going to actually get you results. AI is not.
Yeah. And I think that, you've experienced this where what people write down on paper is not what they're saying to your face. When you ask them like real life situational questions,
yeah,
it's very different. So as someone who works with clients, you really have to learn how to read between the lines and understand what they're really trying to tell you.
Yeah. That's actually a really interesting point that you brought up there because I'll give you an example. When we first meet clients in person, we always ask them what their goals are, right? I always ask, give me your top 3 goals. I want to know what your priority or list of priorities are for what you want to achieve in terms of fitness and in your health in general. People will always list things, right? But there are certain things that are way deeper than what you think it is. So for example, let's just say someone says, I want to get more jacked. Okay, why do you want to get more jacked? what is the reason why you want to get more jacked? And like sometimes some people will say, and this is actually a real life situation I encountered. Someone was like, oh, I just want to really grow my chest. And I thought, okay, that's very specific. Why do you want your chest to get bigger? Right. Afterwards, when I found out what the true deep meaning behind why you want a bigger chest was that this individual actually lacked confidence. He felt like having a big, proud chest, being able to walk around with his shirt off at the beach, he's going to have more confidence. And what that actually created was he wanted to meet a person. He wanted a partner. He was a little lonely, like he's trying to meet somebody in general. And that was a way for him to meet a new partner, right? Go to the beach, look good, feel confident. But like, that's not something he ever said to me. All he said with the first line is I want to get jacked. But when you actually dig deeper, you find out the true meanings behind some things. So sometimes people say, hey, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 50 pounds. Very black and white. And a lot of people will say something like that. But it's like, why do you actually want to lose 50 pounds? Oh, I'm very unhealthy. Or my doctor told me to because if I don't, I might die. Or I'm developing really bad health conditions. I need to lose 50 pounds or else my health will deteriorate even faster. It's like those are all deeper meanings, and those are things that you may not get right away. So for example, when you ask AI a question and say like, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds, AI has no idea that you are developing diabetes or you have all these health problems that are underlying. You just didn't want to tell it that, right? As a human being, we can learn those things and behaviors and start to get the deeper why behind things. And I always talk about that. It's like the why, find out the why.
Yeah.
Right? Because people will say something at surface level, but we don't actually realize that meant something deeper to them. So
Exactly.
So humans over AI. AI is a useful tool, but I would say like I'd take us any day.
Like another thing is if I'm going on ChatGPT and getting a program for something, I feel like I'm so much less likely to be super committed to that versus if I have a real human person telling me this is what I need to do and checking in with me. So it's the big accountability piece as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. People want the free option always, and it's like a lot easier, but they don't realize like there's work behind it. So anytime you get those, like if like at the end of the day, there's a million workout programs out there online. Like you can get any workout program free online. Does that mean that you're actually going to do it and execute and see results? No, it means nothing. There's no accountability to it. It's just a tool that they're being given to you. But at the end of the day, if you're not going to show up, you're not going to show up.
You're not disappointing anyone.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. Also, you're not paying money towards someone. And when people pay money for things, usually most of the time, they're going to execute on it. And like they want to make sure they can see results. So.
Yeah. There's a saying, it's like when you make a transaction, that's when the transformation happens. Because it's so true. If you're putting money into something, like you're going to be committed to the process and trying to get the most value out of it.
Yeah, agreed.
Another thing I wanted to touch on was this is something your mom actually just shared about having older parents, and they would 100% prefer to go into a bank and have a meeting with someone versus doing everything online because they need that human connection. Like life is going to be so boring and depressing if you're literally just sitting in your house talking with a computer.
Yeah.
Like people need social interaction.
Yeah, look what happened during the pandemic. Like when we lost social interaction, people forgot how to just be in a social setting.
Yeah.
Ourselves included. I don't know if you remember that one time we met up with friends, like the second the pandemic ended. We went into public, two of our friends at a bar, and we just hung out. And I'm not kidding, I didn't know what to do with my face. Because I was so used to wearing a mask. I wasn't used to seeing people's faces and their smiles that I was...
No, I looked at you and I'm like, why are you smiling like that? Like you look so weird.
I was like awkwardly smiling. I didn't know what to do with my face and how to express things.
Yeah.
That was funny.
No, there was a period of time where when you're seeing people in person again, it's like, it's like you have to remember how to have a normal conversation. It was so bizarre.
And that's why I love my job and I love what I do, where I get to meet different kinds of people and learn how to interact with different individuals.
Yeah.
Because you learn how to become a chameleon essentially. And you also learn how to deal with good people, bad people, and just take away from it. You know, like learn from every single interaction I ever have.
Yeah.
So
I think we're both lucky in that we don't really have to deal with any bad people at all.
Well, here and there.
Okay, well, I don't.
Yeah. Well, you might get a person who's like way more difficult than you need to be.
But then I don't work with them. So.
Yeah. Well, she's the...
I don't have to deal with them.
She deals with the avoidance. So next question we got in our DMs was actually, what are the supplements that we're taking? Or what supplements do we recommend?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'd keep it very simple. I'm not someone who wants to recommend a bunch of supplements, but my go-tos are forever creatine.
That's what I was going to say.
Creatine for life. Honest to God. Take creatine.
I wish I was more consistent with that because I put it in my protein shake, but to be honest, I try not to drink a protein shake every day to rely on that as a protein source. If I can get protein from Whole Foods, then that's my go-to.
Yeah.
But how could I take creatine if it wasn't in protein powder? I guess just drink it with water.
You can put creatine powder in anything.
What would I put it in?
Your coffee?
Okay. I should have done that.
Yeah. You can put it in any liquid form.
Okay.
You can dry scoop it if you want. Disgusting.
No thanks.
Not recommended. I did that once. Horrible. 10 out of 10. Don't recommend.
Yeah, coffee is a much better strategy.
Just or the water that you drink every morning, or the water that you should be drinking every morning.
I definitely drink water, but I think in water you would taste it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everyone's preference. But creatine, number one supplement I'd recommend for life, essentially.
Because it helps with muscle recovery.
There's so many benefits to it. I don't want to go into this deep dive. I don't want to run this for another 30 minutes talking about creatine.
Okay. Well, what's the main benefit?
The main benefits of creatine is it's going to help you with muscle. It's going to help you with strength. It's going to help you with... There's cognitive benefits to it too. They have research on, but I'll just leave it at those top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're going to see significant improvements for most people anytime they take creatine. Some people think it's like a freaking natural steroid. Honest to God. People think so many great things about creatine, and it is awesome, but it's just like such a low level awesome that you should have. Because there's obviously better things out there.
Isn't it one of the most researched
It's the most
supplements?
Yeah, creatine monohydrate. Like it's the most.
Like there's absolutely zero downsides to being on it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like way too many research behind it for it to be considered bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 1, creatine. I wouldn't say for number 2, I'm not going to go into a deep dive of vitamins. So I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to talk about like strictly supplements you get from like Popeyes, even though you can get vitamins at Popeyes. I'd say protein powder. Honestly, like a lot of people under eat protein. And as Rai said, you should be eating it as a whole food. But the problem is people aren't. Yeah. So I think protein powder would be a really good way for people to get that extra. There's a reason why it's called a supplement, right? You're not trying to replace your meals with protein powder. You're trying to add to your meals and help yourself hit your protein goals by taking protein powder. Obviously, something I would recommend when getting protein powder is make sure that the ingredients, there's not like a laundry list of ingredients when picking a protein powder. When there's way too many ingredients, then that means there's way too many fillers. Make sure it's short and sweet, pretty simple. There's a lot of good protein powders out there, but not every protein powder is going to work for you. Sometimes you might get one that might upset your stomach. So you have to...
That's the common for me.
Yeah, you need to find the right one that doesn't bother your stomach.
Yeah. Or sometimes you just need to have a meal in first during the day before you're drinking protein, and that helps.
And then what would I say is my third supplement of choice? What's a tough one? Personally,
as we're 30 now.
No. I take so many vitamins. As a supplement, I would say I like pre-workout, okay? So some people some people like pre-workout, some people don't. You have to find the ones with the right ingredients because there's obviously purposes for every single ingredient. If you like the tingly feeling that you get, that's a beta-alanine, get a pre-workout that has that tingly feeling. But if you're just someone who needs a little oomph before doing a workout, get something with like a higher level of caffeine. If you're someone who wants to get a high pump in the gym and you just want that vascularity, you want your muscles to be full of blood when working out, I would get like a pump product that doesn't have any caffeine in it. There's just so many routes to taking pre-workout. Pre-workout is not what's going to make or break your physique and or help you lose weight. But if it's the one thing that can help you have a better workout, why not take it, right? I'm not saying I recommend it in the sense of you have to have it, but if I'm going to name a top 3, I think pre-workout to me, I always have amazing workouts when I take pre-workout.
Yeah.
And like watch your caffeine intake. If you're someone who drinks like 6 coffees a day and then you're complaining about saying, oh, people shouldn't be taking pre-workout, it's like you're already consuming more caffeine than the average human being from all the coffees you drink.
Like I said, self-awareness, super key.
Because I know some people that drink lots of coffees and then they have a pre-workout. I'm like, yo, like you are really overdoing your caffeine intake. You have to be careful there. So
4th supplement, Ozempic.
We're not going there. We aren't going there at all. I think we're going to pretend she didn't say that.
Just kidding.
There are benefits and there are lots of cons. But like I said, I don't want to go into that deep dive because we're not medical professionals. We're not really qualified to give our opinions on Ozempic. Also, we've never been obese and have never had diabetes. So
fair.
As a trainer, I don't recommend it. But like if you are diabetic and this is something that you need to deal with your obesity, it's a great tool. But other than that, if you're just someone who wants to lose 10 pounds and get shredded for summer and you're taking Ozempic, figure your life out.
Well, I don't think it's people taking it who want to get shredded. It's people
No, there are people who want to lose.
who want to be skinny. There's a big difference.
Yeah, that's true. Last question we're going to cover is alternatives to meal prep.
I mean, for myself, to be honest, I don't do a lot of meal prep, but I do have a lot of time in my day to kind of make whatever meal I want to, because another thing is I track my macros. Yeah, so because I track my macros, I know what amount of protein, carbs, fats I need to be hitting per day. That kind of gives me the flexibility to be able to eat different foods throughout the day and not necessarily have it planned out beforehand and prepared. And that's kind of just what works for me. Unless I don't have the time in my day, then of course I'm going to try to have some meals prepared.
Yeah.
Another way is you can get like a meal prep service. What's the one that you normally go to?
Meal Prep Ottawa.
Yeah.
So there's Meal Prep Ottawa and there's Flavor Daddy.
Yeah.
Those are two really great options. The reason why I named those two and not like the other ones are because we've tried some meal prep stuff and I don't like the portions. They don't consider how much protein we actually consume. They think we eat like birds.
Yeah, honestly.
First, like meal prep companies actually fully recognize that you need to have a high level of protein and that's the priority of every meal. So I appreciate those kind of meal prep companies that are like related to gyms usually.
Yeah. Like Factor Meals is popular, but I have friends who use it. And yes, it's super convenient and healthy, but they find that it's just not enough food for them.
Yeah. Like I said, it assumes you eat like a bird.
Yeah.
The thing about tracking is a lot of people are so against tracking and they call it obsessive and they're like, I don't want to live my life like that where I have to track everything. It's like, if you're someone who's struggling with your weight and or struggling with just like anything, even gaining muscle, the reason why you're still in that position is because you haven't decided to make a change. And you can continue living your life thinking, oh, I don't be obsessive and I don't want to track. But it's like, it's literally the one ticket tool to see success. Yeah. It is so easy. Like people want to build it up in their head like it's such a difficult task. It's like, oh my God, I had to weigh my food. That's so crazy. Like it was one extra step. I had to do it for an entire year for like a prep related lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Once you get into the swing of it, you know how you can see the time you spend on your phone on certain apps. So for me, MyFitnessPal, 10 minutes a day. That's it.
Yeah, it's not a time-consuming thing. Yeah. Of course, you have to navigate and figure out the way around the app.
At first.
But like once you're in it, it's so easy to do. And then when it comes to weighing food, it's like you're putting food on a plate anyways. I'm sorry that you have to turn on your scale and have your food balance. Like it's really not that difficult.
But it's also not something you have to do forever.
No.
But it is a really good experience just to do even for like a couple months. Because then when you do get back into like not using it, you're so much more better at guessing portion sizes when it comes to like eating chicken breast. I can eyeball it now and know well, not exactly, but
yeah, and I get
approximately how much I'm eating.
Yeah. The thing about a weighing scale and also tracking your macros is it is one of the most humbling things that you will ever experience when it comes to eating food. I've had clients who are like, oh my God, I had no idea there were this many calories in the amount of grapes I eat.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they recognize that the bowl of grapes they were eating was as many calories as it was. And they thought it was like, oh, I'm just eating fruits. It's not a lot of calories. But then it's like throwing you off your calories for the day. And now that's why you're not going to lose weight, right? It's very humbling. And like I said, it's a little bit of a change in your lifestyle. But like, do what you got to do to see your results, you know?
Yeah.
It's always the people who are complaining the most about tracking and complaining about like doing macros and all this. But like, you're the person who doesn't see results and you're the person who is in a position that you don't want to be in for the longest time.
Yeah.
So when are you going to make that change and bite the bullet and stop being a child?
Well, it's like I said, you have to know where your starting point is.
Yeah.
So for that specifically, if you don't even know how many calories are in the foods that you're eating every day, like that's a really good starting point.
Yeah.
And that goes for so many different things.
And as you mentioned earlier, you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. But like if you're someone who's thriving and you're doing great and everything is awesome, sunshine and rainbows, do what you're doing, right? Don't even listen to what we said about tracking macros. Continue doing what you're doing. This is strictly for the people who are truly struggling. Like if you are in a position where you are, I've done everything I can to try and lose weight. I've done everything I can to try and gain muscle and nothing's working. It's like the reason why is because you don't want to actually accept who you are. You don't want to accept the fact that you don't believe that tracking is going to actually be beneficial to you and you can't accept that how humbling it truly is.
Yeah.
But
And I think once you get good at it and let's say you are into bodybuilding or training for something, then even when you get to points where you might be hitting a plateau or you might, have a different goal that you're working towards, it's really handy to manipulate the macros when you're tracking to say, okay, what am I gonna, maybe I want to reduce my intake by 100 calories a day and try to hit a bigger protein intake.
Yeah.
How's that gonna affect my physique?
Yeah.
Depending on what the goal is.
It's kind of like a game.
Yeah.
Truthfully and honestly, when you have it set up that way, it's like a game. It's like, how do I set up my day so that I can eat X amount of the keg steak tonight? Right? It's literally, you mapped out your day.
So specific.
I know. But that's the kind of things you do when you're successful in this realm.
Yeah.
That's why people see their goals. That's why they achieve everything.
That's how I see tracking our net worth.
Yeah.
Tracking our monthly expenses. It is kind of like a game. It's like, oh, I want to save even more next month. I want to invest this much this year to hit this number. I like seeing that number go up.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But this is not for everyone. But if you want to start living a lifestyle where you, like I mentioned, you see results, you build net worth, you get rich. These are the little things you got to do, right? If you're someone who's already rich and you're already fit and you don't have to listen to what we're saying because obviously you found something that works for you, awesome. But
come on this podcast.
Yeah, come on this podcast and tell us what you've been doing.
Yeah.
But there's so many people who aren't in that position and people struggle and they need to find the X, Y, and Z to how they're going to be successful. Start with the little things. The things that we've been talking about are just such small little things.
I also don't want this to come off as we're doing so great, we're so successful, this is what we do. That's not the point of this.
No, it's not. Yeah, we're not trying to.
I just want to clarify.
Yeah, we're not trying to shove it in your face how great we're doing.
These are the things we do to try and grow.
Yeah.
That we want to be able to share with people and just kind of start that conversation of comparing what we're doing to what other people are doing with the end goal of all of us being successful together.
Yeah. But we also do need to talk about the things that got us from point A to point B. And the reason why we're in our positions right where we are now is because of the things that we talk about and what we do.
And I love being transparent
Yeah.
about so many things because, I don't know, traditionally it's obviously not as a popular thing to be talking about money so casually, even though I feel like it should be.
Yeah.
Because I think that you can easily, be inspired by what someone else is doing or learn one thing that could help you.
Yeah. So hopefully from this episode, you were able to take away one thing that we mentioned, whether it be the goal setting, talking about AI, supplements, and just meal prep stuff. And if you go to Tremblant and decide to do a trip, just make sure you remember that we put that in your brain. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Continue sending us questions in our DMs. We love being able to talk about them, and it gives us more content to work on.
If you get a DM from me, it's actually me. It's not a bot, I promise.
She's actually talking to you directly. There's no bot involved. Please be nice.
No, everyone's been really nice.
No, I'm kidding. I was joking. All right. So if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy our content. And if you can give us a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. We love making these kind of videos for you guys.
Gives us some good insight.
Yeah. And in the comments below, if you guys have any topics you want us to talk about or touch on in the next episode, we'd love to do that. And hopefully in the next few episodes, we're going to be able to do our collab with some other people for our podcast. We're not going to name any names yet, but we have one coming up soon. So that should be exciting. All right. Thanks again.
Bye.
Catch you in the next one. Peace.